Alright guys, welcome to the video. This video right here is for beginners, and these are the 5 tips that I have for all beginners when they start their weightlifting or fitness journey. And let's get right into it. So let me fix my hair real quick. So tip number 1, right? You should choose 3 to 6 exercises and get really good at those. Now, things to take into consideration when choosing these 3 exercises, or how many. If you're an individual who lives a sedentary lifestyle and has no athletic background, maybe just wasn't so active throughout your life, and now you have a family and you have a desk job. This is just an example, so I'm going on the extreme of low sedentary lifestyle. You should probably choose 3 exercises, right? And I'll even give you an example, right? Let's say you want to get good. Let's do a lower body, the squat, bench press, because that's everybody's favorite exercise, and then something for your back. So let's say a pull-up or an assisted pull-up, depending on how many pull-ups you can do. Get really good at those. Get the form locked in. Look at other videos, tutorials on how to properly do them, and make those your priority at the beginning of your journey. Now, you have other exercises to do, but those shouldn't be the top of the food chain. So, for example, if you want to do some machines for your arms and stuff like that, yes, do them correctly, but you should really be focusing on getting good at those 3 exercises that you chose. Now, if you have a background in athletics and you wanted to get back into lifting weights or just start lifting weights, your background is purely athletics and not weightlifting and getting strong, you should probably choose the latter, right? You should probably choose 5 to 6 exercises and get really good at those. I've trained individuals who let themselves go and they were really overweight, but they used to play a lot of football back in high school, and they don't have difficulties getting the form locked down as much as somebody who just didn't have that lifestyle when they were younger. So if you have a background in athletics, choose 5 to 6 exercises, get really good at them at the beginning of your journey, and progress from there. All right, tip number 2 is barbells, dumbbells, machines, cables, and body weights are all good exercises. They all have their place. So when you start consuming fitness content, a lot of times people will tell you, hey, you should be doing barbell work. And I agree for the most part, right? But if you are an individual who, there's a lot of these individuals who have anxiety going to the gym, or you're worried about what other people think, which I don't recommend, but that's a topic for another day. Definitely just go in the gym. Get to the gym. It is okay to evolve. If you want to start in machines, go ahead. Then go to the cables, and as you lose some weight or you get better with the form, start doing some body weight exercises, get some dumbbells in there, and then get to some barbells. And let me tell you, once you evolve here, you're going to love the barbells at some point. Majority of people do, but all of them are good. Body weight, dumbbells, machines, cables, dumbbells, and barbells. So that is tip number 2. They're all really good for you. Tip number 3, muscle confusion is not a thing. So I say this because a lot of people who are already working out know this, right? This is common knowledge. But if you're a new guy, you've heard this before and you think it's legit. How do I know? Because I've heard people who actually used to work out back in the 90s and say, oh, what about muscle confusion? It is not a thing, guys. It is not a protocol. If there is any validity to it, it is not something you should implement into your routine or program. Let me tell you something, all right? The only thing you're going to confuse is yourself. The muscles ain't getting confused because the muscles know one thing, and that's mechanical tension. You apply enough mechanical tension on the muscle and it will grow and it will get stronger. Now, I don't know anybody personally that went into the gym and said, I'm going to confuse my muscles and get jack stacked really strong, and actually got jack stacked and really strong. Now, if you know them, then please point them towards my direction, because I want to meet them, because they might just be a genetic freak. Somebody who just can look at weights and get strong, right? Now, apply this to other aspects in life. What other aspects in life do you do random stuff consistently and actually get the results that you want? Probably none. Apply those same principles to this. Consistency is key. Do not try to confuse your muscles. You're gonna end up confusing yourself when you don't get the results that you want. All right, tip number 4. You should be progressing in those exercises. Now, the first example I said was choose 3 to 6 exercises. Let's just choose 3 for example, right? You chose bench, assisted pull-ups, and squats. You should be progressing in those movements with reps and weight. Choose a rep goal. Hey, I want to do 10 reps on the bench press on 3 sets, and you start off with 135. And at first, you get to 10, 9, and maybe 7 on the third, right? Because you went really hard. And your form is good, of course. Once you get to that second set to 10 and that third set to 10, it is time to go up in weight. And rinse and repeat. And that will give you measurable results. You do this, right? And you can literally measure your results. You do that muscle confusion thing I was talking about, you're not measuring anything. What you could do is go to a tailor, right? Get your chest measured, get your arms measured, pretend like you're gonna buy a suit, and then right when you're about to buy a suit, you know what, I'll just take these measurements, take them home, and then you just con them for progression. But you don't have to do all that. You could just write down the workouts you do, how much weight you use, and the times you progress, and that is enough measurable material for you to know that you're gaining muscle and getting stronger. So, guys, progress. I also want to add, keep the form the same. Once you get good at those exercises, do not budge that form to get more weight. It's not going to speed up your process, and it might lead to injury later on. So, keep the form good, progress in those movements. Tip number 5. I work with a lot of busy individuals. Majority of people have families. They don't have time to go to the gym every single day. If you do, congrats. You should. Or, think of a program where you could go many days out of the week. But there is nothing wrong with going to the gym twice a week. And the way to implement that is with full body training. I only go to the gym 2 times a week, sometimes 3. And on that third day, I'm doing minor light work to add to certain muscle groups that I'm trying to grow. But for the most part, I go to the gym and hit the weights twice a week. I do full body. That is what I promote. That is what I recommend for a lot of beginners to do. If you could go full body 3 times a week, absolutely. Don't overwhelm yourself. You might get too tired by that third set. So there's some programming to be involved there, right? But if you go to the gym on a Monday and you go hard on your chest, back, shoulders, arms, quads, hamstrings, glutes, you're gonna be sore the next day. And then Wednesday, you'll be like, feeling better. And Thursday, you'll be feeling refreshed, ready to go again. Guys, I highly recommend you try doing the full body workouts 2 to 3 times a week and see what results you get, because I'm telling you, all the science says, right, and I'm not a science guy, I train based off availability and how you can train and still live your regular life, full-time job, be a parent, be a part of the family. If you hit a muscle group twice a week, you've hit it enough times for it to grow at a substantial rate. So remember that. Full body twice a week, I highly recommend it. You could do whatever you want, but to me, it's easier to convince people to go to the gym twice a week than for them to go 4 or 5 times a week. Alright guys, that is the video for today. I hope it was helpful. If you learned anything, please consider subscribing, liking the video. If there's anything you would like for me to tackle on the future video, leave a comment, let me know. If you want personal training, personal plans made for you, for your schedule, visit my website, juicefitness247.com.